What's up guys, I'm Steven. This is the Ask Steven Show, where you guys ask me questions about chiropractic, school, health, business, life, and everything in between, and I do my best to answer them. It is Good Friday. I'm having a great Friday here, Easter weekend, about to head up to Nashville to meet up with my family for Easter. I know my family's not from Nashville. My brother lives in Nashville, so we're all meeting up there. It's gonna be a great time. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Yeah, it was raining really hard earlier, kind of distorted the volume on this. So if it starts raining again, I'm sorry, but we're just gonna roll through it if it does, because I had to keep it real. I like to do things in one take. Speaking of which, if you guys want to see this show like as a live video format, so that way I can get direct feedback with you guys, I believe you can set it up on YouTube where it's like a live video, and then obviously you can stream it as a playback. If you would like to see that happen for the Ask Steven show, then comment below. Comment live. Comment it below so I know if you guys are interested in that and you guys want to make that happen. Okay, so I feel good about this one, guys. I feel it. I feel like it's going to be a great episode. So let's go ahead and get into it. Jocelyn asks, did you get shadowing experience before chiropractic school? If so, where did you go? I remember you previously saying you went to WVU, and that's where I'm at. Let's go Mountaineers! So Jocelyn, thank you so much for your question. I think this is an important topic, something that I wanted to talk about a lot, because I think shadowing other offices and other doctors is such a valuable experience. It's something that I have done quite frequently and has helped me out a lot. Number one, just for solidifying that I wanted to do this chiropractic thing, but also just to continue doing it, just to get that experience, get in offices, connect those relationships with other doctors, and just learn, because you can learn so much just through visiting these offices. And the cool thing about shadowing is you can never do it too early or too late, right? Like you can be in high school and be shadowing offices. You can be like me, like I was in college and I was shadowing a lot of chiropractic offices. You can be like me now in chiropractic school and I'm still shadowing other offices, and now I have the opportunity to travel all around the country and visit other offices, which is incredible. And I'm gonna continue doing that until I open up my own practice, because there's just so much that you can learn. So this is gonna be a very valuable video, and I think I'm gonna give you guys very tactile answers to this one. I feel really good about it. I said I got that energy today, guys. So listen up, whether you're procrastinating, studying, and listening to this video. Quit studying for a minute. If you're doing dishes, cleaning, eating, whatever you're doing, stop and listen up and take notes, because I know this is gonna help a lot of you guys out, okay? So what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, I'm gonna give you guys the perfect template that I have used. I believe that I found a system that has worked out very well for me, that you guys can implement and use to get into not just chiropractic offices, but the most successful, the biggest chiropractic offices around your city, around your area. And so obviously this is gonna vary depending on where you're at. Like if you're in Chicago or Los Angeles or Denver, Colorado, obviously you're gonna have more opportunities. There's thousands of chiropractors there that you can go and visit, versus if you grew up in rural Nebraska or like me in West Virginia. But that being said, I certainly made it work for me in West Virginia, where there's just not as many chiropractors around, and I think that you can implement this system regardless where you're at, whether you're in a city or in the country or somewhere in between. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, we're going to get into this. Again, it's going to be real, so take notes and listen up and follow this verbatim. It will help you guys out a lot, and I'm going to do it with you, so we're going to kind of follow this around, okay, together. So what you want to do first is get on your iPhone or get on your computer, whatever, and go on Google. And you can do this a couple ways. The first thing is you can look up, chiropractors near me, or the top 5 chiropractors near me. And what this is gonna do, the way Google works, is it's going to rate them usually based on search results, amount of reviews, and so forth. So the most popular offices are gonna show up first on Google. Okay, and so if we look at some of these reviews, like this one has a lot of reviews here, you can click on that, you can go to their website, look at their photos, like that looks like a really good website. A really good office here, so we can kind of scroll down. Okay, there's their email, so we can, go on there and I can email them. And I'm gonna explain why I email rather than call. But what else we could do? I could look up, find the Gonstead Finder app. Okay, and so we can get on the Gonstead site. Say you're interested in looking up a specific Gonstead doctor, right? And then you can look up your area, and then you get, the list of doctors here. So let's say, okay, I found this doctor. I actually know this doctor that's in practice near us, so I can click on him, and then there's his email. Okay, so why you want to email? It's very important why. So you want to do email versus calling them, because likely if it's a busy practice, you want to be calling them, especially during their office hours, because during their office hours, they're getting calls from patients and everything else. And so you don't want to get in the way of all of that, because whenever they're talking to you about coming to shadow their office, they could be answering calls from patients. So you don't want to be a disruption. You don't want to be a nuisance with the practice. That's why I always send them an email first. And I think that way they can read it and answer it and respond back to you in their timely manner. Okay, so you're not like forcing it on them. So what we want to do, so like I said, we got this guy's email up here. Okay, so now we got the email up. What we're going to do for the subject, we're going to put looking to shadow. And then we're going to compose the email, okay? So when we compose it, you can say, hi, doctor, whatever, or if it's a practice, you can say, hi, team, precision chiropractic, or whatever, okay? And you can type it like this. This is how we're going to word this email that you guys can use to send to these offices, okay? So, hey, doc, and you can type it like this. You can say, I'm a student at blankety blank college. I plan on starting chiropractic school in May. Okay, or if you're like me and you are already in chiropractic school, we can word it like, for me, like if I were sending out this email, I would say, I am a 4th quarter chiropractic student at Life. Okay, so you can type it like that. Okay, so then you can say, I have heard great things about your practice, and I would love the opportunity to visit your practice during one of your downtimes, very important downtimes, to see what a successful practice looks like and operates. Okay, and then if you're a student, you can say something like, I'm out of class by 3:30 every day, or if you work a job, I'm out of work at 5 every day. Is there a day this week that works best? Okay, XOXO, don't actually put XOXO. So you word it like this, and why you want to word it, important here, downtimes. Why you want to word it downtimes for is the same reason why you don't call them for, because you don't want to be a nuisance to the practice. And whenever you go shadow them for the first time of this series, because we're going to go down a little bit of a funnel here, but as we go to the first office time, we don't want to get in the way of things. And oftentimes, even if they allow you to come in or they have you come in during a busy time, usually whenever you come in, again, there's going to be patients everywhere. People are going to be filing paperwork, answering calls. The doctor is going to be really busy, seeing patient after patient after patient. And so you coming in, you're going to you could get in the way of things. They might be like, oh shit, we forgot this guy. This kid was going to come into our practice today. And you're just kind of in the way of things, okay? Especially when you haven't initially built that relationship up, that rapport up, okay? So I recommend that very important, you say during the downtimes, okay? Just to come in and see what their practice looks like. Very nonchalant, and most of the time they're going to get back to you very soon, within that day or the next day. I found like 98% of the time they're going to get back to you. If they don't, rule of thumb that I kind of created up with, if they don't get back to you within 48 hours, you can resend this email again. And then if they don't get back to you 48 hours after that email, then you can give them a call. Particularly, I would call them after their business hours and then leave them a voicemail. And then if they still don't get back to you after 2 days, then you can call them during their normal hours, okay? So email, 48 hours, email, call, okay? And if then that doesn't work, just move on to the next one, right? So you wanna do this to 5 offices, okay? And I guarantee you they're all 5, most likely they're gonna get back to you and shoot you a time to come into their office, okay? Come in Tuesday at 3, perfect. So now you come in Tuesday at 3 during one of their downtimes, so they're not seeing a lot of people, or maybe they're not even open at all. You come into the office and, initially that way you're gonna come in, they're gonna introduce yourself to them and so forth. They're gonna be so glad you're here. They might take you on a tour and show you the practice. And then meanwhile, you're like, oh wow, this is such a beautiful practice. You're complimenting them, it's so nice and everything else, right? So you're just building up that rapport. Then, since it's the downtime, and again, it's gonna depend practice to practice. Like for example, the guy I brought up, Dr. Kalanick, I know him and his practice, it's literally just him there. Okay, so obviously it's going to be different for him versus if I'm going to another larger practice or clinic that has 10 team members and 3 doctors, you know what I mean? So it's going to vary practice to practice, but still, case in point, you're still likely going to be able to meet the doctor, right? And so then you introduce yourself, I'm so-and-so doctor, and tell them the story. You can talk to them and whatnot. They might ask you where you got the chiropractic school. You can tell them your story, how you got into chiropractic, and so on and so forth. You're just talking to them. You want to be careful not to just come in and be asking them questions and like, give me value, give me value, give me value, because people don't like that when you're there to take something from them. Even though it's obvious you're there to shadow, to see it and ask questions and whatnot. They know that and they're willing to pour in and help you. But for that first visit, you're more interested in just building that relationship and building that rapport and that connection with them, okay? So make that your priority. I'm not saying you can't ask questions, especially if they give you the opportunity to. So certainly have questions ready that you would ask. But again, focus on building that relationship for that first time you come into their office, okay? So come in, view their office, build that relationship, compliment them for the practice, and then once it all settles down after 15, 30 minutes, an hour, however long you're there for the first time, once it's all wrapping up, you just thank them and say, thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate this opportunity. I really, and whatnot. And then you say this is key now. Now you're gonna schedule to come in a second time. Okay, so this is really key how you word this here. So you just say, again, thank you for having me here, and say, would it be possible, I would love the opportunity to come back in during one of your busier hours or during a time where you're seeing a lot more patients, so that way I can actually see how this successful practice like yours operates on such a high level. Okay? So notice how you're complimenting their practice and whatnot. The way you word it's very key with this. And I think if you word it that way, it's gonna go very well, okay? Then you say, don't worry about, I won't get in the way. I'll stand off to the side. You won't even know I'm there. Okay, so that way it takes out that nuisance factor. Again, most practices won't, most doctors won't really care necessarily, but I think it's just nice that you say that, right? That you say, hey, don't worry, I'm not gonna be in the way. I'll stand up in a corner. You won't even know I'm there. That gives them that reassurance that okay, there's nothing, really, they're gonna be more apt to do it, okay? So you do that, and again, most of the time they're gonna schedule you, okay, great, come in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Perfect. You come in tomorrow at 1 o'clock during the busy hour. Now usually you're coming in, there's gonna be more patients there, they might have you sign a non-disclosure agreement so you get that out of the way, and then they'll station you wherever. It might be in the waiting room, they might allow you, again, this is important why if you build that relationship with that doctor firsthand, so that way, the doc's like, hey, come follow me around and all that, and literally, you'll be right by his side and he'll take you to patients. That's usually how it's worked for me. That's why building that rapport up with the doc is really important on that first visit. So that way when you come in the second time, he's like, yo, hey, come follow me around. And that's really cool because now you're following the doctor around as he's seeing patient to patient to patient, okay? So that's really cool. And then so you do that. And during this time, again, you're not interrupting, you're doing what you said, you're gonna just stay in the corner, you don't even have to know I'm there, and you're just observing, right? You're just watching it all unfold. And during that, again, I highly recommend you bring a notebook, be writing things down. I'm against having your phone in on it because then, the patient might be like, is he recording me? I don't know, he has his phone out. People don't like having your phones out in that privacy kind of area. So just have a notebook, pen and paper, and just be writing things down as you see it. Write questions down, write observations, write things you see. What do you like? What might you be curious about or don't like about this? Write all of that down, okay? And then, again, same deal. If you have questions or if they give you a downtime to talk, you soak that in and continue to build that relationship with him. And then once it all wraps up and dies down, whenever you guys are wrapping up your meeting there, and then you say again, be very appreciative. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me in your practice. This is incredible. Your team is so amazing. Your office is so efficient. You guys are operating on such a high level. This is great, whatever, right? You hype up the practice again. And then you say, this is again, the third part of it, okay, and this is the most important part where you get really deep down the funnel. And then you say, hey, this has been such a wonderful experience. I learned so much, and I've written so many things down from observing X and X doctor, right? Or if you're just talking to the doctor, hey, I know you're really busy right now, but I just want to say thank you. I've written so much notes down. Would it be okay if we maybe met up for coffee for 15 minutes on your way before we come into the practice in the morning, just to talk through some of the notes and some of the questions that I have written down, okay? This is really important, okay? So if you word it like that, now we saw we had the initial visit, we had this visit, and now this is what I call the close, where you're now offering them to meet with them on a one-on-one level. Okay, so if you word it that way, where, hey, I know you're busy right now, but I would love the opportunity to meet with you for a coffee for 15 minutes. Again, it's not gonna take too much of your time. in the morning before you come in to work or come into your practice to answer some questions and talk about some of the notes that I've written down. And doctors will love this. Doctors will love this. They love this when a student's eager to learn, they're interested in their practice, they're interested in them. Doctors will love this. I promise you, doctors will love, if you say that verbatim what I just said, doctors will lose their mind. They'll love this, okay? So they're most likely going to offer to schedule, and again, I think it's good to meet up with them one-on-one. Sometimes, again, you might get the chance where they're like, well, hey, let's just sit down and talk now. That's cool too. If you're in a really busy practice, I think it's good to word it like, hey, I know you guys are busy. I don't want to take up any more of your time. Would you be cool if we met up for coffee for 15 minutes before we come to work just to talk about some of the questions and notes that I've written down, right? So it's going to depend, again, circumstantial, but the point is you want to meet up with that doctor one-on-one, to have that one-on-one time, because that's when you're really going to build this connection and get those deep questions that you want answered. Okay, so you've set all of this up to meet up with the doctor one-on-one. And so now let's say you got that coffee date. So now you meet up with the doc for coffee, and now you're sitting down with him one-on-one, and this is the time to shine. Now, this is the close now. So now you can discuss the notes, the things you observed in his practice, some questions that you heard practice, some questions that you have, and you get those things answered. And that's great, and that's so valuable. And like have that as like a notebook of gold right there that you're gonna keep with you. But on top of that now you've really solidified that relationship. You have that relationship now, right? And what's great about this, you know, whether even if you plan on coming back home and you want to work for the doc or regardless, but now whenever you come back home, you know, whenever you come to chiropractic school and then you come back and visit home or visit wherever you're at, now you can hit up that doc, or you're doing this with 5 doctors, 10 practices. You have a list of these doctors now that you're building relationships with, that then whenever you come back to visit, you can hit up your favorite doctors that you've really built that connection with and say, hey, like, can I come and, you know, see your practice again? Or hey, like, you can ask them to come and hang out and ask more questions and talk about school and life and ask them more questions and see their practice and just get deeper and deeper and deeper. And so I hope you guys can start to see the value of this now. And if you do this, like, again, you can do this with so many doctors. So you can have a list of all these doctors, of the top doctors in your hometown or in your city or area, okay? And then as you come to school, and if you follow kind of some steps of the path that I'm taking, where now I have opportunities to go and see doctors from all over the country, you can now have all these doctors from all over the place. So now wherever you go travel or go visit, you now have all these doctors you can hit up, they have that relationship with, that you can just, again, dive deeper and learn so much. And the value that you gain through this whole experience is just so much. It's exponential, just how much value that this system brings. And I think that this is kind of the template that I personally use, and I know that this will be so valuable for so many of you. So I'm gonna challenge you guys now. I wanna challenge you guys to reach out today, right after we finish this video. I want you guys to reach out right now and do what I did. Find 5, I say start with 5. Find 5 doctors, particularly like the 5 top chiropractors in your area. Look up 5, find some Gonstead doctors if you're interested in the Gonstead system or whatever technique or area you're interested in, but just look up the top 5 doctors in your area, get their emails, email them, and send them that email template out, and start shadowing their practices, and then just follow down this funnel and build those relationships with them. It's gonna be so worthwhile, guys. You're gonna learn so much. I'm challenging you guys, and I wanna hear your results. Put your results in the comments below, because I want everyone to watch this video to do this. If you're coming to chiropractic school, if you're a chiropractic student, or honestly, you could use this template in any industry. If you're an MD, PT, like any job, anything you're interested in. If you wanna own your own coffee shop, like hit up the top coffee houses and hit the owners and do the same. Like, this funnel works literally for anything. And that's why I think this is so valuable, and this can help so many of you. So share it with other people, because though this is a chiropractic related thing, it can apply to so many other industries and other interests as well. So hope you guys like this one. I'm watching you guys. I want you guys to do this thing because I know it will help you out so much and bring so much value to you and your life, and help you become that doctor that you want to be, that the world needs. Okay? So do it. Let me know. I'm watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!